As the day drew to a close, the atmosphere around Crunchum Hall transformed remarkably. The students, once fraught with dread and intimidation, felt a wave of relief wash over them. They were not just returning to the normal sanctuary of learning, but stepping into a world revamped by Mr. Cherokee, the principal, who had taken it upon himself to erase any memory of the old, oppressive environment. The skylights, now aglow with a vibrant bluish-green light, painted the entire school in a hue that radiated positivity and hope, offering a stark contrast to the gloomy days of the past. Meanwhile, at home, Melody found solace in the joyful antics of her little guy. Clad in a sailor's uniform, he beamed with pride and innocence. Melody couldn't help but marvel at the transformation of his spirit. As he wrapped her in a tight embrace, a warmth enveloped her that felt like a comforting cocoon. It was an unexpected surprise for Melody, who mused aloud about how rare it was for someone to embrace her back. This poignant moment of connection illuminated the power of love and reassurance, showing her a glimpse of what genuine affection felt like. The little guy, eager to express his affection, excitedly announced that he had something special for his mother. Guided by his creativity and the magic of Fillmore logic, he asked her to close her eyes, building up the suspense with an infectious enthusiasm. When Melody finally opened her eyes, her heart danced at the sight of a chocolate heart, a symbol of his love. Tears welled up in her eyes as if his thoughtful gesture was melting her worries away, just like the chocolate in her mouth. In that split second, she stood up, scooped him into her arms, and spun him around. Such an outpouring of joy reverberated through the room, as warmth and happiness enveloped them both. His embrace felt like a turtle retreating into its shell, safe and snug. Wrapped in her unconditional love, he burrowed deeper, feeling protected from the nightmares of Miss Trunchbull and the looming shadows of fear. As the night settled upon them, it dawned on Melody that together they could face those fears, embracing the newfound joy that filled their hearts. In a realm where fear held no power, a little guy lay fast asleep. His worries of Miss Trunchbull faded into the background, cocooned in the warmth of his dreams. Melody, his cunning mother, chuckled softly, her mind weaving a scheming plan. With careful steps, she traversed the dimly lit corridor, determined to sneak into her son's room, her heart brimming with love and mischief. Nestled beside his bed, she leaned over, bluing softly into his ear, her voice a gentle whisper of magic. "Close your eyes. I have a surprise." His slumbering mind swirled in wonder. He felt the enchanting embrace of his mother, whisked away into surreal realms. Not in a typical travel carrier, but a snug haven akin to a kangaroo's pouch, created by her nurturing arms. As soon as a warm squeeze encompassed him, the boy blinked into wakefulness. This was a landscape far from the nightmares of Miss Trunchbull. This space lacked the dark spikes and jagged pipes of his fears. Instead, he found solace in the comforting embrace that shielded him from tyranny. A soft breeze danced upon them, playfully tossing Melody's hair around, creating whimsical shades that covered his little buddy's face. Frantically, he attempted to wipe it away, but the curls insisted on bouncing back, teasing him as they spun together in a whirl of affection. Through the gentle chaos, his little eyelids drooped once more, pulling him into dreamland. As dawn broke, the air sparkled with possibility, and Melody beamed with another surprise, exclaiming, "Thought you might want to take this with you." She produced a splendid kilt, transforming him into a fierce marvel of unmistakable charm. In her hands, she cradled the Scottish small pipes, resembling the formidable great Highland bagpipes, but tender and inviting instead of loud. "Little buddy," she encouraged, "I want you to learn this instrument." Her voice danced with excitement as she shared tales of a teacher who tackled the bagpipes, her anticipation lighting up the room. With the instruments clutched tightly and a smile that stretched wide, he felt ready to face the world, imbued with newfound courage. The shadows whispered, and for a fleeting moment, Miss Trunchbull's eerie figure loomed near yet. Courage sparked within him. He placed the blowpipe to his lips and inflated the bag, filling the air with sound. Instantly, the specter receded as he stepped into the welcoming embrace of Crunchum Hall, transformed into a sanctuary, free from fear. In the heart of a school where vibrant greenish-blue light spilled from the skylights, a strange energy buzzed within the halls. The intercom crackled as Mr. Cherokee, with his energetic yet nurturing voice, brought warmth to the chilly atmosphere. "I don't know why our school is called Crunchum Hall," he began, determination lacing his words, "but I refuse to call it that." As the students listened, hearts swelling with hope, Mr. Cherokee boldly declared that this institution would reclaim its prior glory, the one overshadowed by the stern rule of Miss Trunchbull. It was a whispered revolution among the young minds, who had long suffered under a tyrant's grip. Just then, Sarah's eyes lit up, catching sight of Mr. Cherokee, his radiant smile contrasting sharply with the memories of the past that haunted the hallways. Snapping out of the weighty atmosphere, Sarah noticed the little boy beside her, dressed in a kilt. "That's different from your normal sailor uniform," she pointed out, a laugh escaping her lips. "Yeah, my mother put me in a kilt," he replied, adjusting to the levity around them. Their footsteps led them towards the classroom, but an ominous trash can loomed ahead, reminiscent of the dreaded Chokey, and Sarah's heart quickened. "Is everything okay?" Sarah asked, her concern palpable. A sharp sound echoed as if a bag was inflating. Soon the upbeat noise of drones and a cheerful chanter filled the air. "Hey, little buddy," chimed Mr. Turkey, his jovial spirit providing a momentary distraction. "Let me show you how to play those." The little boy, with a nervous glance, politely declined, but reassured Mr. Turkey he would join later after class. As they walked, the little boy faltered in front of the trash can, a shadow of fear crossing his face. "Why did I stop in front of the Chokey?" he inquired, dread creeping into his voice. Sarah laughed gently, her confidence a shield against his fears. "Oh, that's not the Chokey, just a trash can," she explained. Memories of Mizzy. Trunchbull faded into laughter under Sarah's warm reassurance, knitting together bonds of courage among the students. The school echoed with Mr. Cherokee's final words, a delicious chorus rising from the students and teachers in jubilant harmony. "No more Miss Trunchbull, no more Miss Trunchbull." Resilience and laughter re-entered the classrooms, the spirit of a brighter future shining bright. This was no longer Crunchum Hall. It was a sanctuary being reborn, thriving under a gentle, encouraging sun. As Mr. Cherokee wrapped up his lesson, a seemingly ordinary day transformed into an extraordinary adventure for the students. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as tiny beads of inspiration floated through the air, the essence of creativity wafting from Mr. Cherokee's engaging teaching style. The little boy, eagerly absorbing the day's lessons, felt the magical energy penetrate his spirit, bridging the classroom and his own dreams. The school bell rang, a sweet sound marking the end of the traditional day, yet this afternoon was anything but typical as he approached Mr. Turkey, the beloved instructor, revealed the wonders of the practice chanter, a mysterious device used by bagpipers to master melodies. The boy, intrigued yet unsure, asked about this peculiar tool with a swift flourish. Mr. Turkey conjured a shiny practice chanter, its surface gleaming like the promise of new adventures. Eager curiosity sparkled in the boy's eyes as the lesson unfolded, each note teaching him about the glorious history of Scottish music. He could almost hear the distant sounds of Highland bagpipes echoing through shimmering glens and valleys. Returning home, his mother swept him into a warm embrace, cradling him as if he were a treasure. In playful spirits, she unveiled a surprise, an enticing hostess cupcake, soft and inviting. The boy's smile widened with each nibble, the sweetness invigorating his imagination. Her revelation about their dinner filled the air with both excitement and trepidation. As she described haggis, the intricate blend of spices and oats sparked a mixture of curiosity and reservation within him. The sound of laughter and friendship drifted from the kitchen, rich with the promise of an evening celebrating Scottish traditions. Soon, guests arrived, each carrying a piece of Scotland, steaming dishes adorned with vibrant flags and cultural symbols. With a determined glint, the boy declared his wish to present haggis like a true Scottish burn supper. Spirits soaring, he grabbed his practice chanter and prepared to perform. As the notes danced around the room, a sense of pride filled his heart. The first taste of haggis followed, a moment steeped in apprehension yet filled with promise. With each bite, the familiar warmth enveloped him, delicious flavors bursting forth. Laughter filled the air, a melody of shared joy. "I could have this every day," he exclaimed, his mother laughing heartily alongside him. Their bond strengthened by food, music, and traditions from faraway lands. As the last echoes of laughter faded into the evening air and the guests departed, a comforting silence enveloped the space. In this tranquil moment, Melody approached with a gleam in her eyes, ready to embrace the connection that had blossomed between them. He felt his heart race, the anticipation spinning a web of emotions, his eyes beginning to swell with unshed tears. How could this all feel so profound, so unexpected? He looked at her, the warmth of the moment wrapping around them like a soft blanket. "I never expected you to do that today," he confessed, his voice trembling just slightly. Melody smiled, a tender, playful glint sparking between them as she replied, "Well, I never expected you to do what you just did earlier." It was like a game, a dance of words revealing the depths of their feelings. "That little treat was as sweet as you," he added with sincerity, feeling the weight of his emotions suffuse the room. Her eyes glistened, swelling with a mixture of joy and surprise, exposing the strength of their bond. But in the midst of this heartwarming exchange, he sensed something deeper stirring within her, her stomach beginning to tremble slightly with the overwhelming feelings swirling inside. It was as if their connection had awakened something profound, transforming the air around them into a tapestry of unspoken understanding. She hadn't expected his heartfelt compliment to bubble forth, catching her off guard and sending ripples through her heart. Soon she enveloped him in an embrace so tight he felt as though he were in the grip of a bagpipe, constricted yet cherished. "Easy, easy," his mind screamed playfully, reminding him to breathe. But every inhale tasted of the sweetness of their shared moment. In her embrace, he found solace. Her eyes, still glistening, reflected the surprise and warmth of their exchange. Harboring a truth that sparked joy, the little moment stretched into infinity as he closed his eyes, savoring the tenderness. Her heart swelled with pride and love, realizing that this unexpected exchange had woven a thread through their lives, linking them more tightly than they had anticipated. With each heartbeat, they both understood. The night may have quieted down, but the echoes of this moment would resonate within them, keeping the warmth alive. As night gently wrapped itself around them, Melody spoke the words that filled the room with warmth. "I love you, little buddy." And the boy's eyes sparkled with joy as he replied, "I love you too. As much, if not more, than that sweet little thing that surprised me earlier." His innocent comments danced in the air, wrapping Melody in a comforting embrace. With a smile, he added, "And I also love you more than Miss Trunchbull," the mention of the dreaded figure making them giggle, breaking the silent tension that night brought. However, as those sweet sounds lingered, Melody felt a stirring in her stomach. Joy bubbled within her, spilling over as tears of happiness cascaded down her cheeks. "That was the sweetest thing you could say," she murmured, finding solace in his words. In that tender moment, the world around them faded, and she wrapped her arms around him, sinking into the gentle lullaby playing softly in the background. As sleep enveloped them, the boy drifted into a land where dreams wove tales of wonders and warmth. Yet this realm of dreams shattered with a sudden loud crash, fearful echoes that jolted the boy from his peaceful rest. A gruff voice broke through the silence. "You want cake?" The voice resembled a ghost from a long-forgotten tale, reminiscent of the villain from a beloved movie. A monstrous figure, none other than Miss Trunchbull, stood there, cake in hand, ordering him to feast upon it, eat it. "Eat it now!" she bellowed, and the boy's heart raced at the thought of her wrath should he refuse. Conflicted, he hesitated. "I could get sick from this," he stammered, glancing nervously at the imposing figure. But the threat of the chokey lurked in the shadows of his mind. Miss Trunchbull's smirk was a pit of dread, and reluctantly he complied, giving in to the pressure as this nightmare threatened to swallow him whole. Just then, a protective force burst into the room. Melody, fierce and unwavering, snatched him from the clutches of fear. "Get out! You have no business here!" She screamed at Miss Trunchbull, weapons of love in her voice. With that fierce declaration, peace returned. Wrapped in Melody's soothing embrace, the boy drifted back to sleep, reassured that he was safe. Together, they cocooned in a sanctuary of love, allowing the wild whirlwind of that night to fade into distant memories, leaving only love to guard them against any more nightmares. As the shadows of the night lengthened, tranquility enveloped the air, free from the stringent reprimands of Miss Trunchbull. The boy, weary and overwhelmed, finally succumbed to sleep once more, yet deep within him stirred an unusual sensation, a whisper of unrest that refused to fade. The cake was delicious, he mused to himself, yet I never intended to engulf the entire thing. Just a few bites, like those my mother would give me in her gentle, nurturing way. In an instant his body betrayed him, compelling him to dash to the bathroom. A wave of nausea cascaded over him, born from an excess of sweetness that he'd never anticipated. The night's events, now starkly contrasting with memories of his mother's moderation, twisted in his mind. As dawn's first light cast a golden hue, an unyielding thought pierced through his discomfort. The memory of Miss Trunchbull's punishment loomed large, overshadowing his enjoyment of that decadent cake. When his weary form met the cold bathroom floor, it was Melody who discovered him first, her heart throbbing in concern. "Oh, little buddy, what has happened to you?" she cooed gently, concern lacing her words. Her heart sank as the boy recounted the harrowing scene from the night before, where he was forced into submission under Miss Trunchbull's ruthless gaze, made to consume not a slice but the entire cake in one grievous act. Her expression morphed from worry into sorrow as she registered the injustice of it all. "It was good, though," he insisted, his voice a mixture of regret and longing. "But there's too much sweetness within." Melody nodded, her voice quavering with sympathy. "It was your first experience with such a cake, and while indulgence can be tempting, I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Enjoyment is meant to be savored, not endured." As confidence and determination filled her tone, she assured him of her backlash against the unjust world today would be different. With a soft, supportive tone, she called Mr. Cherokee to relay the news, ensuring her little buddy would have the rest he deserved. "Of course," he replied, his warm and animated voice carrying reassurance. "I'll inform Miss Sarah." Melody's spirit lifted, confident in her advocacy, even as thoughts of Miss Trunchbull's menacing designs loomed in the back of her mind. What new schemes could she devise? With the heaviness of the past night fresh in her mind, Melody vowed to protect her friend from the menace of excess, even as Miss Trunchbull plotted her next move to sow fear in the community through more cakes and punishments. As sunlight poured through the skylights, casting brilliant hues of greenish-blue across the classroom, Mr. Cherokee felt a weight upon his shoulders. The peaceful atmosphere masked the turmoil brewing just beneath the surface, and he understood that today would not be ordinary. He resolved himself to check on Sarah, sensing that the moment called for action. Gently, he knocked on Sarah's classroom door, his heart racing like a drum in anticipation of the conversation ahead. A soft but sweet voice beckoned him, inviting him to step inside. When Sarah emerged, her eyes glimmered with curiosity. "What is it, Mr. Cherokee?" she asked, sensing his urgency. He took a moment before breaking the news, feeling the gravity of his words. "One of your little buddies will not be in today," he said, watching her expression shift from concern to alarm. Her brows furrowed as she pressed for details. "What happened?" With a heavy heart, Mr. Cherokee explained. Miss Trunchbull entered Melody's house again. This time it was no dream. She forced the little guy to consume an entire cake. He paused, recalling the scene that had unfolded yesterday. "I saw a kind Arapaho man delivering small cakes to the neighborhood as a gesture of kindness for Thanksgiving. But Ms. Trunchbull confronted him, falsely accusing him of stealing. She claimed that he gave cakes to Melody and her buddy, only to drag them to the house and force the little one to eat an entire cake." The shock in Sarah's face was palpable. "Oh no," she gasped, her determination igniting. "I will make sure all the other students know Mr." Cherokee felt a flicker of hope as he wished her a good day, retreating empty-handed to his office, where thoughts of the little buddy swirled like autumn leaves caught in the wind. Meanwhile, back at home, Melody faced her own battle. As she took her son's temperature, alarm bells rang in her mind when she discovered an unsettlingly high reading. "Whoa," she exclaimed softly, her concern deepening. "Let's get you to the doctor." The phone rang, breaking the tension. A familiar voice echoed on the other end. "I'm Miss Choctaw," the nurse said. "I remember you." Melody felt a spark of relief wash over her. She shared the distressing news, desperately hoping for help. "Yes, I'll come to you," Miss Choctaw assured her, her voice steady and reassuring as a gentle stream. Mr. Arapaho will take us." As Melody swiftly prepared, she felt the weight of her son's nausea cling heavily to the air, but she clutched him close, determined to ensure that this nightmare would soon fade into the past. As sunlight poured through the windows, illuminating the room in a warm glow, Melody cradled the little one in her arms, offering comfort and reassurance. Just then, a soft knock echoed against the door, jolting Melody's attention. Carefully, she placed the little guy down before stepping toward the door, where a voice awaited her. "Hello, are you Melanie?" The inquiry came from an unfamiliar yet kind tone. "Yes, I am," she replied, her heart quickening with curiosity. The visitor, identifying himself as the Arapaho man, explained, "I was here yesterday delivering your little cakes as a gesture for Thanksgiving. However, it seems there's some important care that needs to be done today." Melody nodded, recalling the sweet offerings from yesterday. "That is correct," she affirmed. "Miss Choctaw called me this morning and mentioned needing my assistance to see her. We are ready." She nestled the little guy against her side, ensuring he felt secure. "Last night was sweeter than the cakes," he whispered, a hint of worry lacing his voice. "This is bigger, isn't it?" Understanding his concern, the Arapaho man smiled gently. "Yes, let's get you to Miss Choctaw. She's working at a different location today, although she usually operates from your school. Things might feel a bit overwhelming now, but I assure you all is well." Solidifying their trust, Melody whispered reassuringly to the little guy, "Miss Trunchbull won't come near us this time." Yet, as they approached Miss Choctaw's office, the sound of raised voices reached their ears. Miss Trunchbull was arguing with someone playing Scottish small pipes, a discordant clash welcomed by the holiday spirit. As the trio entered Miss Choctaw's office, her bright smile greeted them, dispelling any remnants of fear. "I'll leave you to your business," the Arapaho man said. Stepping aside with a gesture of kindness, Melody responded with a warm smile, feeling grateful for this moment of care. Once they were settled, she conveyed the little one's worries to Miss Choctaw, who patiently guided them. "Don't worry. I'm not here to hurt you," she reassured. With a gentle and professional demeanor, she prepared to take the little guy's temperature. "Let's see if your mother gets the same reading as I will display," she added, her calmness bringing comfort. The little one anxiously awaited the outcome, trusting that this encounter would turn out to be a positive one. In the soft glow of the afternoon light through Miss Choctaw's office, a serene atmosphere enveloped the space. The quiet murmur of recommended remedies and gentle reassurances danced in the air. With a tender voice, Miss Choctaw confirmed the familiar number, weaving trust into the fabric of the encounter. It was a moment that echoed the delicate melodies of laughter and stories shared beneath the trees by the creek, grounded in tradition and healing. As she placed a cool fan strategically near the bedside, a breeze stirred the room, promising comfort and calm amid uncertainty. In her knowledgeable hands, she presented an age-old natural medication revered by Native Americans for its healing properties. While its name slipped from memory, it resonated with ancestral wisdom. She spoke of its use among neighboring tribes, bridging traditions and cultures, illustrating a rich tapestry woven from shared experiences. The atmosphere brimmed with historical significance as she offered a spoonful, her words a gentle nudge to a child anxious about new tastes. "This will not hurt a bit," she reassured him, her voice a balm against worry. The little one took a tentative taste, the flavors surprising yet familiar, igniting curiosity amid the soothing warmth of the room. As he awaited his mother, a wave of calmness engulfed him, enhanced by her gentle embrace when she arrived. The comforting strokes on his back transformed the setting into a sanctuary where affection thrived. Melody's occasional caresses mirrored the rhythm of a lullaby, creating a bond that anchored them both. Amid the comforting simplicity of the moment, he reached out to feel his mother's arm close, their subtle gestures speaking volumes. It was a bond painted with smooth strokes of reassurance, each touch a thread stitching their hearts closer, wrapped in warmth against the world beyond the fan's gentle flow. Suddenly, the tickling sensation of his mother's hair, whipped playfully by the fan, turned the moment into a playful reverie. It reminded him of the gleeful chaos of presenting bead tricks in class. A laugh bubbled up as the hair danced whimsically around him, painting joy in the air. Melody soon joined in on the laughter, her mirth contagious as if the very essence of delight had ignited between them. Just then, her mother's strands floated across his face, weaving a moment so surreal it could have belonged to a dream. As the soft hum of the fan continued, his mother's embrace remained, a steadfast reminder of love's warmth. "I'm going to be taking a break for a little bit," Miss Choctaw said softly, her care evident. With a wave, Melody sent a silent message of gratitude as she placed her hand back on her little buddy, solidifying their connection in that cherished space. In the soft, greenish-blue glow of Miss Choctaw's office, the atmosphere exuded an air of calmness tinged with curiosity. The little guy was nestled comfortably on the bed, his tiny hands clutching the sheets, while Melody sat beside him, a reassuring presence. The tranquility shattered as the little guy whispered, inquiring about the peculiar color of the office. Miss Choctaw, enveloped in warmth and nostalgia, smiled and explained, "Oh, I like that color. It reminds me of the funny teacher turkey in Mr. Cherokee." Her fond memories hung thick in the air, creating a mystical ambiance reminiscent of days gone by. Just then, an unexpected raspy voice broke the spell, demanding attention with a teasing, "Gobble, gobble, who's ready for Thanksgiving in the chokey?" It was the formidable Miss Trunchbull, and the little guy trembled with dread at her approach. Melody, understanding his fear, wrapped her arms around him, embracing him tightly, as if she were the great Highland bagpipes striking up an empowering tune. "Pay no attention to her," Melody urged with a fierce determination that sparked courage within the little guy. "You're not going in there." Just then, a raucous jingling echoed through the air, reminiscent of a doorbell prank as Miss Trunchbull ventured outside. Unbeknownst to her, Miss Choctaw was absorbed in her thoughts, unaware of Miss Trunchbull's antics. Outside, the scene turned chaotic. Miss Trunchbull wielded blue spray paint, boldly lettering the wall, "Crunchum Hall Hospital," her mischievous grin mirroring her intent to disrupt. Inside, a plot thickened as Miss Trunchbull donned a vibrant disguise, transforming herself into a colorful turkey, determined to infiltrate the receptionist's desk. "I'm here to be your assistant receptionist," she announced confidently. The existing receptionist, caught off guard but compliant, gestured for her to take a seat. With her sinister ingenuity, Miss Trunchbull placed a chokey in each patient room, cackling with delight at her mischief. But her revelry was short-lived as a sick patient entered, and suddenly, chaos ensued. From behind the shadows, Miss Choctaw emerged, her tone serious, demanding answers for the ruckus outside. As tensions heightened, the showdown between the cunning Miss Trunchbull and the unwavering Miss Choctaw felt inevitable. Miss Choctaw's profound authority resonated deeply as she stood her ground, declaring, "You are by far banned from this location." The air crackled with an ominous promise of retribution, and the fate of Crunchum Hall hung delicately in the balance. In the glaring sunlight, Miss Choctaw found her gaze irresistibly drawn to the striking, bold blue letters spelling out Crunchum Hall Hospital. It was a day that promised to unravel unexpected truths, especially after her unsettling encounter with the notorious Miss Trunchbull. Retreating into her office, bathed in a soothing bluish-green glow, Miss Choctaw sought solace but was unprepared for the revelations lurking in the air, palpable like the tension before a storm. As she approached the door, anticipation fluttered in her chest. "Everything okay?" Her bright voice rang out, imbued with concern, in a hushed tone. A little voice echoed back, filled with trepidation, "Don't put me in the chokey." It was a haunting phrase, heavy with the weight of childhood fears. The revelation struck like a lightning bolt. Miss Trunchbull had built chokeys under the guise of a receptionist, a sinister shadow lurking behind a seemingly innocent facade. "What's wrong?" Miss Choctaw pressed, her heart pounding. "There's a chokey right near us," the little guy whimpered, eyes wide with fear. Comforting him like bagpipes readying for a hopeful tune, she reassured him, "I know there's a chokey, but you're not going in there, buddy." However, the dread of Miss Trunchbull loomed large as Miss Choctaw stepped back outside, facing the ominous letters of Crunchum Hall Hospital, her voice cutting through the silence. "Agatha, Tyrant, Trunchbull, show yourself, now." With a sultry flourish, Miss Trunchbull emerged, fascination and irritation woven into her demeanor. "What do you want?" she asked, feigning surprise at being addressed in full. Miss Choctaw, her composure wavering, responded with steely resolve, "Explain the chokey." With that, The air thickened with tension as Miss Trunchbull's smirk danced across her lips, relishing the chaos she cultivated amongst the innocent. "I installed a special chokey for Melody's little guy, or should I say, menace," Miss Trunchbull declared carelessly. The room quivered with a lingering angst as Miss Choctaw retorted, "His mother treats him to cake in small doses, and your reckless behavior has him spiraling into anxiety." The stakes escalated, bringing into question the welfare of the children under Miss Trunchbull's iron grip. As Miss Choctaw summoned every ounce of courage to confront this tyrant of dread, she resolved, "You will not install another chokey in our community. I will ensure Mr. Arapaho knows of your reckless antics." After the recent chaos in Miss Choctaw's office, Miss Trunchbull stalked the streets, her eyes scanning for her next victim. The rich aroma of chocolate wafted through the air, pulling her attention toward a familiar figure. Mr. Arapaho, known for his infectious smile and friendly nature, he had a special bond with the community, and everyone adored him. Realizing the source of the sweet scent was him, she approached with suspicion, questioning him about the cake in his hands. "Is that cake you're stealing?" Miss Trunchbull's voice rang out, as sharp as her demeanor. Arapaho turned, eyebrows raised in disbelief. "Excuse me. I heard about the commotion caused by you. Choctaw just notified me to be on alert. You know, if I were you, I'd reconsider my actions. Tormenting the community is not the way to go." His words flowed steadily, his gaze unyielding. Trunchbull, arms crossed, stood her ground. "I'm simply trying to teach resilience to the kids, not just with cakes, but with life." "Your definition of nurturing is misguided," Mr. Arapaho replied, recalling a childhood memory. "I grew up watching that movie you starred in, Matilda. Yes, I was raised with strictness on a reservation, but my parents understood balance. They once let me indulge in films that taught me life's values through stories. Just as they did, I want these girls to learn the importance of compassion and kindness." A tense silence hung in the air as Miss Trunchbull dismissed his reasoning with a huff. "I did not steal this cake. I paid for these and am en route to visit Melody and her little one, hoping to lift their spirits during this tough time. He's been unwell. How can you not see the good in that?" Trunchbull's frustration peaked. "That illness was because he made the mistake of snatching my cakes. A fitting punishment was to enjoy a whole cake as a lesson." Mr. Arapaho shook his head. "Punishment? How about you join a powwow for a change? You could learn to appreciate community values instead of spreading fear." Miss Trunchbull chuckled at the absurd suggestion, yet within the jest lay merit. Against his unwavering enthusiasm to bring the community together for Thanksgiving, he continued, "I want to celebrate not just with turkey, but with Scottish traditions too. Even a haggis would deserve a spot on the table. Mr. Arapaho smiled, indicating that even in disagreement, understanding could blossom. The aroma of cake sweetened the air, but it was the spirit of camaraderie that lingered, reminding them both that the heart of community lay in nurturing bonds, not fractures. As the scent danced on the breeze, lessons began to emerge, not just through words, but through shared experiences. As the Arapaho man carefully arranged the little cakes into containers, a warm feeling of gratitude enveloped him. He paused for a moment, pondering how a haggis could bring a delightful touch to the Thanksgiving table, nestled among the turkey and pumpkin pie. He envisioned the rich, savory flavors of the haggis intertwining with traditional desserts, symbolizing a gathering of diverse cultures and backgrounds. "Thanksgiving is a celebration that unites us all," he mused, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips as he thought about the importance of shared experiences. Suddenly, the sharp voice of Missy Trunchbull broke his reverie, addressing the chaos brewing nearby. "Don't think I won't hear you over there. Those cakes won't be stolen again," she warned with an intimidating glare directed at the Arapaho man. Unfazed, he stood tall, retorting that he had every intention of keeping his cherished cakes safe. Just then, a familiar figure caught his eye. Mr. Turkey, the beloved teacher known for his jovial spirit, announcing his arrival while strumming a Scottish tune on his instrument. "Mr. Arapaho, Mr." Turkey called out playfully, prompting a cheerful exchange between the two as they bantered. Mr. Arapaho revealed a special treat, one of his delightful little cakes crafted with rich chocolate. Mr. Turkey's curiosity piqued. He savored the first bite, tasting sweetness that danced on his tongue. "This is fabulous. "Birds don't usually eat cake, but this is a delightful exception," exclaimed Mr. Turkey as laughter filled the air. With each shared bite, stories unfolded, revealing hidden traditions interwoven between their cultures. Turkey, with a twinkle in his eye, expressed his Scottish and Irish heritage, painting a picture of a rich lineage that embraced diversity. In return, Mr. Turkey shared his musical expertise with Mr. Arapaho, handing him a practice chanter for the bagpipes. "Let's start with the first 9 notes," he encouraged, as he guided Mr. Arapaho through the sequences. Their laughter reverberated alongside the melodies. The excitement in the air was palpable as they explored the enchanting world of music together. This Thanksgiving, rather than mere tradition, they forged connections that blended their unique backgrounds, showcasing the beautiful tapestry of cultures that made their celebration truly special. As Mr. Arapaho and Mr. Turkey concluded their initial lesson on the majestic bagpipes, excitement lingered in the air. Mr. Turkey, always eager to encourage his pupil, casually suggested, "Hey, Mr. Arapaho, how about we learn your first tune? It's called the Rowan Tree. We'll keep it simple for now, just the basics." A bright smile spread across Mr. Arapaho's face as he embraced the invitation with delight, pondering the melodies he was about to explore. Curiosity sparked within Mr. Arapaho as he asked, "When do you think I'll be ready for my own set of bagpipes?" Mr. Turkey chuckled knowingly. "Let me look into getting you a set of Scottish small pipes first. I suspect the traditional Highland pipes might overwhelm the community just yet. But don't worry, I'll show you our wonderful variety of Scottish small pipes, and you can start with the ones I play, which are mouth-blown." The thought of playing such a beautiful instrument thrilled Mr. Arapaho. "Do they come in different keys?" he wondered aloud. Mr. Turkey replied with a smile. "Indeed, mine are in the key of A, the perfect choice for our tunes. They sound fantastic." The conversation deepened as they explored the intricacies of the drones. "Some sets have 2, 4, or 3 drones. My set has 3, a tenor, another tenor, and a bass. It's a harmonious blend that captures the essence of the Highland spirit, especially since my middle drone serves as a baritone drone." "That sounds amazing," Mr. Arapaho exclaimed. Mr. Turkey continued, "There's also the option for a set in B flat, but for now A is where we will focus. With your enthusiasm, we will soon be making beautiful music together." Mr. Arapaho couldn't contain his excitement, saying, "Mr. Turkey, I want to propose something to you. The community would cherish the joy of the music, and perhaps we could even share the delightful scents and tastes while playing." "I love the idea," Mr. Turkey replied. "As I teach my eager learners, it would be wonderful to have you join me for such occasions. We could bridge the gap between learning and community engagement." Mr. Arapaho sighed wistfully. "But alas, I have yet to secure my Scottish small pipes," Mr. Turkey reassured. "No worries at all. Once you've grasped your first tune, you can practice with your chanter. And before you know it, we will find a suitable set for you." Ideas danced in Mr. Arapaho's mind. What if we tried creating our own set of Scottish small pipes? Even PVC could be a viable option. We just need to ensure we construct the drone joints meticulously. Mr. Turkey nodded in agreement. "Absolutely. As long as we adapt them for use with small pipe reeds, the outcome could still resonate with the tradition. Perhaps we could even incorporate a practice chanter into our designs." Mr. Arapaho beamed, envisioning a journey ahead, both musically and creatively, ready to immerse himself into the world of enchanting melodies. As Mr. Arapaho skillfully selected another playlist of bagpipe music, a lively atmosphere filled the air. The first set of tunes began, a traditional medley of march, strathspey, and reel, each note flowing like a gentle stream. Melody instinctively responded to the sounds, her little one beside her, curiosity radiating from his bright eyes. "What is a little guy?" he pondered aloud, searching for understanding in a world filled with new melodies and deep rhythms. In that fleeting moment, Melody felt a pang of protectiveness, squeezing him close, as if wrapping him in the warmth of familiar music. It was a gesture reminiscent of a bagpiper's embrace of their cherished instrument. I know exactly who you're talking about," she whispered, her voice soothing like a soft lullaby. Their bond was unshakable, and she vowed never to let him eat that whole thing again. Not if she could help it. A gentle smile crossed her face as she reminisced about Mr. Arapaho. He was a truly nice guy, and she wanted her little guy to see that too. In a tender moment, Melody planted a gentle kiss atop his head, anchoring him further in this sea of sound and emotion, just as some of the tunes from Mr. Arapaho's playlist began to weave together. A fierce and resonant sound emerged in the distance. The unmistakable presence of a real bagpipe band approached, each note signaling the arrival of a new experience. Little Tommy's father, who taught him the right and wrong ways of life, had often used bagpipes as a humorous reminder of his childish missteps. But today, this band wasn't just ceremonial. It was a symbol of togetherness, echoing the community's spirit mother. The little guy called, excitement and fear intertwined in his voice. "Oh yeah, those bagpipers are loud." Melody acknowledged, her instincts heightened, ready to shield him from the overwhelming din. Nestled in her embrace like a small bird beneath a protective wing, he hoped the warmth of her presence would quiet the imminent storm of sound. As the melodies of Scotland the Brave and the Rowan Tree cascaded through the streets, their significance transformed into a moment of shared connection. Melody's heart raced as she noted little Tommy's nervousness in response to the bagpipes. "They're just bagpipes, love, no need to be afraid," she reassured him, a tender smile blooming on her face. His smile ignited memories of freshly nurtured joy, reminiscent of their moments together. Tears welled in Melody's eyes, tears of pride. Yes, these bagpipes were louder and larger than the small pipes he was used to. Yet the energy in her hug, vibrant and alive, told him everything would be all right. As she felt his anticipation for the day he would master those big pipes, Melody understood that this was more than an ordinary day. It was the beginning of a melodious journey, a celebration of family, community, and the legacy of music. As the fierce sounds of the bagpipes faded away, a unique sensation lingered in the air. Nearby, the haunting melodies of Willian pipes intertwined with the distant echoes, creating a symphony of rich Irish heritage. In that moment, the traditionally soft notes floated gracefully, drawing curious glances from passers-by, hesitant yet enchanted. The Willian pipes, distinguished by their intricate design, feature not only a chanter and drones, but also 3 regulators, providing a harmonic framework that dances alongside the melody. As the musician pumped the bellows with his elbow, his fingers danced skillfully over the chanter, casting spells with each note. A world of vibrant Irish tradition opened up in the sound that wrapped around everyone present, an invisible thread connecting generations. With a heartwarming exchange, an understanding burgeoned between the child and his mother. She reassured him gently, her voice as sweet as the melodies filling the air, softening the harshness of unfamiliarity. He questioned, contemplating the layers of sound, and she shared her wisdom. Each musicality stepped closer as they approached the source, a man representing his culture through the voice of the pipes. Upon meeting the proud Irishman, curiosity was met with kindness. With a smile, he offered to share his music, eager to unveil the enchantment of the Willian pipes. As the enchanting tune slipped from his fingers, it captured the very essence of their surroundings, drops of joy wrapped in nostalgia and authenticity. The little boy listened, his innocence echoing the simplicity and beauty of the melodies. Touched by the heartfelt exchange, the mother felt a powerful connection solidifying between them, a reminder of the strength of love and shared experiences. Her eyes glistened as she contemplated the significance of the moment. The music emerged as a vessel of emotions, much like the beloved child before her. That profound statement, the boy's heartfelt compliment, resonated deep within her, a testament to the power of shared artistry. As the sounds rippled through the streets, intertwining with laughter and friendly conversations, a cherished memory was forged that day. The melodies of the Willian pipes didn't just signify a musical tradition. They became an integral part of the bond between mother and son, a reminder of the sweet moments that linger in the heart long after the music has played. Amidst the swirling notes, connection flourished, echoing through the afternoon as they continued on their journey together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the evening sky transformed into a canvas of deep greenish-blue hues illuminated by the soft glow of lights. In this whimsical scene, Melody and her little guy radiated joy. The day took a surprising turn when a message arrived from Mr. Cherokee, the principal, announcing an unexpected break from school for the rest of the week. With a heart full of excitement and adventure, Melody shared the news with her son, embracing him tightly, spinning him in a whirl of laughter and love. Just then, Sarah, the little guy's teacher, approached with a friendly smile. "Hey, little buddy, want to join us?" she asked, bringing along some classmates who were eager to engage in fun activities despite the school closure. Melody, beaming with pride, explained, "He might want to invite the Irishman. He's been providing music for the community. Don't worry, little one, you'll see him often for lessons." Encouraged by his mother, the little boy gleefully agreed to accompany Sarah, who excitedly shared what they had learned from Mr. Turkey that day about crafting art from tiny, minuscule beads that felt like sand when clustered together. Sarah, with a twinkle in her eye, inquired, "Is there anything special you want to create, little buddy?" His face lit up with a spark of imagination. "Can I make a wig of red yarn? I want to look like the Irishman." His whimsical idea made Sarah laugh, and together they set out to create the vibrant wig. Armed with yards of red yarn, they fashioned the most imaginative wigs, placing them atop their heads and donning smiles that matched their whimsical creations. As the time came for the little guy to return to Melody, he whispered, "I want to surprise her." Sarah nodded with delight and led him back, where Melody erupted in laughter at the sight of her wonderfully transformed son. "Since when did I get a little Irishman?" she exclaimed, overflowing with joy as she tickled him, and they frolicked together, their hearts intertwined in pure bliss. With newfound excitement, they strolled over to the Irishman. Spotting them, he chuckled, "Well, it seems we have a little Irishman here." The little boy proudly proclaimed, "I made it out of yarn. It's a wig." The Irishman couldn't contain his laughter, rolling on the ground in delight at the imaginative display. "Looks like I'm in for a lot of fun with you," he teased before returning to his enchanting melodies on the Irish pipes. As the evening unfolded, Melody reflected softly on the magic they had created from the earlier disappointments. Embracing her little one, she spun him around as the Irish piper played a soothing tune, cradling her son who drifted off to sleep in her arms, dreaming of the Irish heritage he was beginning to cherish. The cool evening air danced around Melody and her little boy as they strolled beneath the gentle glow of streetlights. The lights shimmered in hues of cyan and green, casting a magical ambience on the quiet surroundings. Suddenly, Mr. Arapaho, a friendly figure in the neighborhood, spotted them. His warm invitation broke through their moment. "Hey guys, I got something extra for you." The little boy clutched his mother's hand, anxiety flickering in his eyes as Mr. Arapaho approached with a container of cakes. "Please don't let her make me do this again," he whispered to his mother, fear evident in his voice. She looked down with a reassuring smile. "Oh no, little buddy, she's not going to hurt you again." "I know who you're talking about," she said, her voice silky and calming. As they continued their walk, inspiration sparked in the little boy's mind. "Hey mother, can we go back to that Irishman?" His mother's heart warmed at his enthusiasm, and she responded, "What do you want to do, little buddy?" With a mischievous grin, the little guy revealed, "I want to share something with him," and tears brimmed in her eyes, a mix of pride and love. "What is it?" she asked, curious about her son's surprise. The two made their way back to where the Irishman was, excited to make the connection again. They sat close, a sense of community building with every rangy note. The Irishman greeted them. "I see you come for another tune." But the little boy had a special gift to present first. "Actually, before that," he said, animated and bright. With nimble fingers, he opened the cake container, pulling one out and offering it to the Irishman. The moment was electric. The Irishman's eyes glistened with gratitude, tears escaping down his cheeks. "I'm definitely playing you a tune now," he declared, eager to reciprocate the little boy's kind gesture. "And I want to teach you a lesson on these particular pipes." And the little boy was taken aback. "But I'm already learning the Scottish pipes." "It doesn't hurt to learn both," replied the Irishman warmly. The joy of the moment engulfed Melody as she watched her little boy reach out to forge this unexpected friendship. With tears in her eyes that mirrored the happiness in her heart, she scooped him up into an embrace, whispering, "You do such a sweet thing." The music swelled with life as the Irishman began to play traditional jigs and reels. Melody lifted her little guy, spinning him around joyously, celebrating the beauty of their newfound bond. As night approached, a gentle transition enveloped the world in hues of dusk, casting a velvet shroud over the landscape. The lights inside shimmered in a greenish-blue glow, reminiscent of the tranquil sea. In this cozy abode, a small figure nestled into the warmth of comfort, surrendering to the inviting embrace of soothing Irish melodies. The soft strains of the Irishman's pipes floated through the air, wrapping around him like a favorite blanket, lulling him into a peaceful slumber as he drifted into dreams of adventure. Softly, she whispered with a knowing smile, "I know you're probably tired by now. We have days ahead to share, but let's gather the rest we need." Her heart brimmed with anticipation as adventure beckoned in the shimmering twilight. They would meet again. Of that she was certain. The Irishman's laughter echoed like a distant charm as he replied, and yet a sudden pause filled the space as Melody and the little guy passed the Arapaho man. His eyes sparkled with mischief and warmth. "I saw what you did earlier," he stated, a glint of approval in his gaze. "And I know you'll still have it. Allow me to offer you another." Delight bloomed on their faces. A sweet exchange of gratitude passed as Melody echoed, "Thanks, Mr. Arapaho." Respect lingered in the air, forged by shared experiences. "Why don't you get some rest?" he suggested kindly, savoring the evening's promise. They returned home, a realm of safety. With a gentle demeanor, she placed him down, nestling beside him and planting soft kisses on his arm like petals falling from a tree in spring. "You're such a sweet little guy," she cooed, her voice a soothing balm, to which he replied, "You are too." His sweet words poured like honey, and Melody's eyes glistened, a warmth swelling within her chest. "Why do you keep saying so many sweet things?" she asked softly, wiping away unbidden tears. His earnestness shone through. "I love you more than anything, even more than Miss Trunchbull." Those words hung between them, heavy yet light, and with a tender smile, she drifted him off to sleep with her mellow voice, accompanied by the gentle sounds of Celtic lullabies. However, amidst the calm of the night, shadows lurked. The melodious tunes faded abruptly when a gruff voice pierced the stillness. "You stole more cakes again." It was Ms. Trunchbull, an unwelcome presence. Alarmed, the little boy replied, "No, I don't want that again." Melody, sensing his distress, rushed in, her spirit ignited. "Did you just turn off the little Celtic music I put on for him?" she demanded, the protective energy radiating from her. Every word, fierce and determined, echoed in the silent night, resilient against the forces attempting to intrude. "Eat your own cake," she declared, the protectiveness surging within her, and as her voice rang out, the air filled with the promise of defense, a night of melodies overshadowed by the looming potential for discord. In the midst of the night, where shadows danced like whispers, Miss Trunchbull loomed ominously. The dim light barely revealed her towering figure, and she radiated an unsettling aura. Melody observed the confrontation with anxiety, her heart racing as Mrs. Trunchbull unleashed a storm of accusations at the little guy. "You think you're a sweet little guy stealing my cakes?" Her voice thundered, each word laced with venom. The accusation hung heavy in the air, a reminder of the cruelty that often stepped into their world. The tension escalated as Mrs. Trunchbull's fury brewed, her eyes glinting with malice. Melody, sensing the danger, interjected with unwavering determination. "No, little buddy. We discussed this earlier. She would never hurt you again." Her voice trembled, yet held a firm resolve. Trunchbull's chuckle echoed like a chilling wind, and with a haughty gesture, she set the cake down, a manipulative smirk dancing on her lips. But Melody was ready. She rushed forward, embracing Miss Trunchbull with unexpected strength, squeezing fiercely. "Are you ever going to come in here and torture him again?" she demanded, her words like fire. The air crackled with tension, Melody's grip tightening as Ms. Trunchbull struggled to regain her breath, the fear seeping into her eyes. "You call him a menace again, and I swear," she threatened, her voice steady with rage. The mention of bagpipes slipped from her lips like a promise steeped in folklore. In that critical moment, Melody released her grip, allowing Mrs. Trunchbull to stumble back, her plans disrupted for the night. As tension eased, Melody turned the focus back to warmth, placing the cake gently on the table, an offering of peace. It was time for solace, and she turned on soft Celtic music, a melody that enveloped them with gentle vibrations. And as the soothing notes filled the room, Melody cradled the little guy, whispering reassurances through soft strokes on his back. A kiss on his arm, filled with love, coaxed him into a tender slumber. Yet, as dreams began to cast their spell, a different figure emerged, a gentle silhouette that felt undeniably Irish. The little guy, drifting into dreams, felt a tender touch and recognized the soothing voice. "It's me, little guy," it beckoned softly. The Celtic music transformed the room. It was akin to an Irish lullaby, lulling him deeper into tranquility. Meanwhile, Melody felt a new sense of urgency rising within her. She knew that once dawn broke, she would have to inform Mr. Arapaho of Miss Trunchbull's menacing presence once more. As dawn broke over the sleepy community, a symphony of quiet sounds filled the air, signaling the end of a restful night and the dawn of a new day. The members of the community, having wrapped up their evening escapades, felt a tingling sense of anticipation, ready to gather once more for another adventure. Today was just getting started, infused with possibilities and the promise of excitement lurking at every corner. Melody knew today would be a unique day, a canvas blank and ripe for storytelling. With a soft determination, Melody tiptoed into her little guy's room, ready to awaken him from his dreams. "Hey, little guy," she cooed. "I went ahead and gave the cake back to Miss Trunchbull. She's not going to hurt you again. How did you sleep last night?" Her voice was sweet but cautious, attempting to erase the remnants of fear Miss Trunchbull had woven through the boy's dreams. The little guy's eyes twinkled mischievously as he confessed, "An Irishman put me to sleep." Laughing at the whimsical notion, Melody countered, "Oh yeah, but after what happened with Miss Trunchbull, the Irishman had to come in and help you out." Their laughter danced in the room, warm and light. The boy's innocent joke was a shield against any lingering fears. Melody playfully ruffled his hair, embracing the joyful atmosphere. Yet, as the boy explained that it was just a dream, Melody mused, "Isn't it funny how some dreams can overshadow others?" The emotional bond they shared created a thick layer of laughter and love, an armor against the challenges outside their door. Just then, a knock echoed through the house, drawing their attention away from their playful banter. Opening the door revealed the Arapaho man, a gentle giant with the heart of a warrior. "I come to check on some people," he began. "I stopped to see Mr. Turkey earlier. Apparently there were sand swirling around, but I know what it really was. It's just minuscule beads. But how are you folks doing?" As they exchanged tales, Melody recounted the unexpected visit from Miss Trunchbull, the heaviness of her presence lifting momentarily in the warmth of shared experiences. Mr. Arapaho's promise to ensure Miss Trunchbull felt the consequences of her torment reassured them both, a silent promise of protection. "From now on, y'all get ready for another day of excitement," he declared, and Melody could feel the thrill of adventure bubbling just beneath the surface, primed to burst forth. As the mid-morning sun began to warm the earth, Melody felt a surge of excitement. The laughter of children flooded her ears as they played outside, their joyful exclamations breaking the gentle ambience of the day. She looked down at the little guy beside her, his eyes filled with both curiosity and hesitation. "Hey, little buddy," she exclaimed, her tone bright. "I think you might really enjoy going out and playing with those kids." But the little guy remained apprehensive, uncertainty clouding his features. "I don't know how that would go," he murmured, faint traces of doubt lingering in his voice. Instinctively, Melody knelt beside him, placing her hands on his shoulders. "Oh, trust me," she encouraged. "There are going to be some good people out there looking after you guys. No need to worry. I'm sure the Irishman will be there too." With her words swirling in the air like a soothing breeze, the little guy's face softened, and he suddenly felt a rush of courage. With newfound determination, he dashed over to his mother, wrapping his small arms around her as tight as he could. As Melody watched them embrace, she felt an unexpected sense of reassurance, knowing the Irishman was out there, always watching over the children. "See," she smiled, her heart swelling with love. "I knew he would be." But just then, a knock at the door interrupted the moment, and the Irishman appeared, his presence as warm as the sun. "Hey," he greeted, his voice lively with a hint of mischief. "I need someone to hang out with me." Melody prepared the little guy for this new adventure. "I love him," he whispered to his mother, "but I love you more." The sweetness of childhood attachment wrapped them in a blanket of tenderness. "I know, little buddy," Melody replied, her voice a gentle caress. "But this will be good for you, to bond with him, just as we do." As they stepped outside, shimmering sunlight danced on their faces, and the Irishman's cheerful voice led the way, infused with the promise of fun. "Once a few minutes have passed, you'll find yourself enjoying it," he assured. But suddenly, the tranquility shattered as a mean-faced woman stormed into the scene. Without warning, she snatched the little guy away from the joyous group. "This is where you'll have fun," she sneered ominously, dragging him inside. The door slammed shut, echoing the abruptness of the moment. The Irishman called out in disbelief, "Hey, little buddy, where are you?" The alarmed yet determined, he rallied the other kids, all of whom shared the same Irish spirit of resilience. They began an urgent search, responding to the muffled distress calls coming from behind that closed door as worry etched into their faces. "What is this?" the Irishman questioned, his voice low and tinged with concern, prepared to confront whatever darkness lay within. In the bright mid-morning sun, the vibrant life of the diverse community buzzed around as people went about their daily activities. The Irishman stood amidst the laughter and chatter, but his attention was suddenly drawn to a distressed cry emanating from a small, ominous box. Heart sinking, he quickly turned, realizing the gravity of the situation. Just then, a loud, mocking laugh pierced the air, echoing throughout the community. The voice proclaimed, "I'm glad I put that little guy in the chokey. After comparing me to his mother and stealing my cakes, he deserves it." The Irishman felt a rush of protectiveness surge through him as he noted to his children, "I'll be right here, but I don't want y'all going in there. There are spikes and nails. You don't want to go in there, but it's okay. Don't be scared. I'm here." With determination, he flung open the door, ready to rescue the little guy trapped inside that dreaded box. Cautiously, he navigated through the sharp points, his heart racing, desperate to free the little one who was now sharing a space with his fears, a mixture of muffled tears and soft sobs. As the Irishman led the rescued boy out into the sun, he noticed the cheerful faces of his children and their newfound Irish friends. They were joyfully chasing each other, laughter ringing like music. However, upon questioning the little one, he learned the troubling truth that lay just beyond their joyful hearts. "Miss Trunchbull," the boy's voice quivered, revealing the identity of the source of their troubles. The Irishman clenched his fists, recognizing the name all too well. She was attempting to take control of their school, enforcing fear among the children. Swiftly, he decided that this was not something that could go unaddressed. Turning around with newfound resolve, the Irishman slammed the door with a force so explosive that the very walls shuddered. "I'm notifying the Arapaho man," he declared, a plan hatching in his mind. Soon after, the news of Miss Trunchbull's whereabouts was sent, igniting flames of fury and courage within the community. As evening approached, the Irishman and his children, having sidestepped danger, returned to their joyful escapade, while the Arapaho man summoned the bagpipe band to ensure Miss Trunchbull would face her justice amidst the powerful sound that would encircle her with unyielding strength. Amid laughter and games, Melody emerged, concern etched on her face. "What happened?" she questioned, eyes wide. The Irishman explained the morning's events, and with each word, expressions of disbelief flickered across Melody's face. "That mean woman," she exclaimed. Yet amidst the seriousness, the Irishman recalled the peace that stirred in the boy's heart, as his dreams were infused with soft Irish music, a reminder of safety and comfort. Smiling, he acknowledged the change in atmosphere, realizing that as long as they stood together as a community, even the fiercest trials could be faced with unwavering spirit. Together, they returned to their festivities, the sun shining brightly overhead, a symbol of resilience and hope. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the Irishman felt a warmth not just from the sun's rays, but from the camaraderie blossoming around him. He caught Melody's gaze and shared a knowing smile, igniting a conversation that danced between cultures and traditions. Melody was all too familiar with the school and the spirited teacher, the one who had so whimsically taken on the persona of a turkey. With spirited tales of her children's adventures intertwining with the holiday preparations, they began to paint a vibrant picture of their plans for the Thanksgiving celebration that lay ahead. The Irishman leaned in, a twinkle in his eye, as he recounted his conversation with Mr. Arapaho, who had been enthusiastic about bringing a bagpipe band to enhance the festive atmosphere. In an unexpected twist, the distant notes of a gaita filled the air, echoing warmly against the backdrop of the gathering. The gaita, echoing from the foothills of Asturias and Galicia, sounded like a melodic bridge connecting their unique heritages. Melody's excitement bubbled to the surface as she revealed her own culinary endeavors, planning a feast inspired by Scottish flavors that would surely mesmerize the community. As laughter and music enveloped them, a sense of joy filled the air. The little ones, full of energy, chased one another, creating a whirlwind of enthusiasm that flowed with the playful notes of the Scottish small pipes. The Arapaho man was hard at work, the unmistakable sound of the pipes harmonizing beautifully with their laughter. Everyone felt a flicker of joy blossom as cultures intertwined, and the Irishman declared the music to be the heartbeat of their shared festivities. They connected through rhythm and tradition, promising that the spirit of Thanksgiving would be enriched by their shared stories, resonating like the sounds of the Scottish small pipes lingering in the cool autumn air. In a vibrant atmosphere filled with anticipation, an Arapaho man and a whimsical turkey prepared for a Thanksgiving feast unlike any other. The Arapaho man meticulously set up the stage, arranging colorful decorations that captured the essence of the harvest season. Nearby, the turkey, cheerful and expressive, played his Scottish small pipes, filling the air with merry tunes. Their teamwork radiated joy, a delightful blend of cultures merging into this special occasion, with echoes of distant gaita music weaving through the crisp autumn air. As they busied themselves, the Arapaho man turned to his feathered friend, reminding him of their unique approach to this Thanksgiving. They would celebrate not only by sharing what they were thankful for, but also by infusing the festivity with a traditional Scottish flair reminiscent of a Burns supper. This innovative twist ignited excitement as the turkey nodded in agreement, eager to embrace the new culinary adventure. The Arapaho man elaborated on their menu, highlighting the traditional dishes: turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing, and pumpkin pie, all enhanced with the spirited essence of Scotland. The joyous sounds of the gaita grew louder, signaling the arrival of something special, perhaps a fresh dimension to their Thanksgiving. The Arapaho man and the turkey shared a knowing glance, recognizing the intriguing blend of Spanish flavors that was about to join their celebration. Their conversation blossomed into an exchange of knowledge, with the Arapaho man shedding light on bagpipes present in northwestern Spain, much to the turkey's astonishment. Enthusiasm bubbled as they learned together, appreciative of the rich tapestry of music that threaded through cultures. However, their joyous preparations were soon interrupted by the boisterous voice of Miss Trunchbull, who stormed in with an air of authority. Her rules thundered over the melody, her presence casting a shadow over the festive setup. Yet, the Arapaho man's spirit remained unyielding, standing defiantly against her reprimands. He defended the joy of their unconventional Thanksgiving, emphasizing the importance of freedom and creativity in celebrating their heritage. With the whimsical turkey beside him, they stood firm against Miss Trunchbull, united in their quest for a Thanksgiving that honored both tradition and innovation. As the air filled with the vibrant sounds of the gaita, Miss Trunchbull stormed through the hall with her imposing presence. She locked eyes with the musicians, a finger raised in accusation. "Will you stop playing that racket? It clearly states in my rules that you are not allowed to play that," she barked, a storm brewing within her. Although Thanksgiving was meant for celebration, to her, order trumped joy. "There will be no Thanksgiving unless there are rules," she declared, her voice echoing with authority as if to drown out the spirit of the occasion. Unbeknownst to Miss Trunchbull, two figures, an Arapaho man and his whimsical turkey teacher, were brewing a scheme to immerse the Thanksgiving feast in a delightful blend of cultures. The musician, undeterred by the towering figure before him, countered, "I actually plan on infusing some Spanish music. I'm from Asturias, and I thought it might add something special to the gathering." His voice held a passion that attempted to pierce through Trunchbull's rigid front as he envisioned the harmonies intertwining in celebration rather than division. "No fusions of cultures in my community," she thundered, her anger palpable. "I am calling it Cruncham Hall Community." The musician hurled back defiantly, refusing to be silenced. "You won't stifle the spirit of Thanksgiving," he declared. He advocated for a melting pot of traditions. "This isn't just about America, Scotland, and Ireland. We can honor Asturias too. Let's add some bagpipe music to this ever-growing diverse community. The air crackled with tension as Miss Trunchbull's nostrils flared, furious at the challenge. Just at that moment, Miss Choctaw swooped in, a fierce protector of the student's voice. "You realize you're talking to someone who cares for people," she bellowed, standing firm against Trunchbull's tyranny. "He's not just some musician, he is bringing culture into our community." Miss Trunchbull's dismissal was venomous. "He's a menace with that gaita." The air pulsed with indignation, and Miss Choctaw's words, sharp and unwavering, sliced through the chaos. "Enough! You can either find yourself next to a bagpiper, or stand aside and listen to the vibrant sounds of unity and culture." Her eyes glinted with resolve, a beacon in the storm of cultural confrontation. In a colorful setting filled with the joyful sounds of celebration, Miss Trunchbull stood obstinately in her ways, a statue of displeasure amidst the cheer. Her disdain for music was palpable, amplifying her imposing presence as she pronounced her disdain for the notes echoing through the air-ems. Choctaw, in stark contrast, radiated warmth and understanding, her affinity for melodies shining bright. The atmosphere crackled with tension as Miss Trunchbull defended her viewpoint with rigid conviction, while Mrs. Choctaw offered a gentle counter, revealing her knowledge of music with confidence as Ms. Choctaw acknowledged the musician's artistry. Her compassionate spirit drew everyone closer, inviting them to participate in a communal celebration of sound. The gaita player, with grace and skill, prepared to unleash a symphony of harmonic notes that echoed the essence of the season. Yet Miss Trunchbull, arms crossed defiantly, remained unyielding. Choctaw, fraught with determination, orchestrated a playful confrontation, suggesting that Miss Trunchbull stand beside the musician, a gamble to make her witness the magic unfolding. With a begrudging sigh, Miss Trunchbull found herself inching toward the talented player, her heart weighing heavy against the swell of enthusiasm surrounding her. As the gaita bloomed with life, producing a deep and resonant sea, the melody danced through the air, weaving an enchanting tapestry that caught the attention of all. Miss Trunchbull's irritation bubbled beneath the surface. However, the vibrant sounds swirled around her, challenging her preconceived notions, crafting an unexpected battle between tradition and evolution. The gaita's notes wrapped around her, tempting her to soften her sharp edges, but Miss Trunchbull stood resolute, her inner turmoil barely concealed as contempt brewed beneath a facade of control. Yet, as the melodies grew stronger with each powerful note, it became clear that the sound held an undeniable magic that could not be ignored. The gaita resonated deeply with the hearts of the bystanders, lifting spirits and transforming indignation into curiosity. Unbeknownst to Miss Trunchbull, she was becoming part of something greater, a community united by sound and rhythms. Choctaw's request hung in the air, blending seamlessly with the gaita's melody, an invitation to let go of rigid rules. Each note played began to sway her steely resolve as Miss Trunchbull grappled with a choice: embrace the enchantment of music or remain shackled by her unwillingness to adapt. As twilight descended upon the gathering, Mr. Turkey honed his craft with precision, ensuring that the harmonious blend of sounds enveloped the space. He diligently adjusted the low A of the bass drone while simultaneously aligning the tenor drone with the same note, creating a symphony of rich, resonant tones. The baritone drone chimed in, perfectly matching E3, creating both a fifth and a fourth relationship that echoed throughout the evening. This intricate tuning process culminated in the harmonious AEA sound that danced delightfully with the melodies of the chanter. In contrast, a musician from Asturias focused intently on his gaita's bass drone, tuning it to low C, an octave depth that resonated with a powerful clarity. This note established a foundation that seamlessly unified with the C5 of his chanter, forming a captivating soundscape that knit the musicians together in a shared purpose. As the sounds faded, the commanding voice of the Arapaho man rang out, summoning the attention of everyone present. He introduced an unconventional Thanksgiving event where gratitude and festivities mingled in a celebration like no other. This year's gathering promised more than mere vocal expressions of thanks. It hinted at a feast presented as a cherished tradition. "Tonight," the Arapaho man announced, stirring excitement, "we're celebrating our feast in the style of a Scottish burn supper." With an air of anticipation, he called upon Mr. Turkey, to present the traditional Thanksgiving feast accompanied by lively tunes from his Scottish small pipes. The familiar melodies of Scotland the Brave began to fill the air, igniting the spirit of celebration as the turkey was brought forth. When the music subsided, the Arapaho man further explained the significance of their gathering. He perfectly captured the essence of blending cultures as he invited a young boy onto the stage, each step echoing the unyielding spirit of youth and courage. Nervously, the little boy held his practice chanter, the sense of apprehension momentarily obscured by determination. With an encouraging smile, the Arapaho man introduced him as a true learner, a comrade alongside Mr. Turkey in the art of bagpiping. As the boy's timid notes floated through the air, the audience felt a wave of warmth transcend the moment, uniting them in celebration, tradition, and the joy of shared artistry. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as the little guy finished his performance on the practice chanter. Melody, unable to contain her joy, stepped forward, beams of pride radiating from her. As soon as he was helped off the stage, she launched herself toward him, enveloping the little one in a warm embrace. "You did it, little buddy," she exclaimed, her voice a chorus of encouragement, reminiscent of the applause still echoing from the audience. Just like that triumphant night before, her hug was as tight as a bagpiper's grip on his instrument, a gesture of unwavering support and love. As she gently spun him around, the world seemed to melt away, leaving only their bond. "Let's go have fun, little buddy," she declared, enthusiasm bubbling over. The spirit of celebration was infectious, and just then, the Arapaho man stepped forward to capture the crowd's attention. "It will now be time for some Asturian music and dancing." His announcement was met with cheers, igniting a wave of eager anticipation among the attendees. Almost immediately, a musician took to the stage, readying his gaita. The rich, earthy sound of the bass drone resonated in perfect harmony, punctuating the air with its commanding presence. As the musician began to play, the enchanting melodies of Asturias filled the venue, twirling around the spectators like leaves caught in a gentle breeze. Melody noticed her little guy's eyes widen with delight, and she couldn't help but smile at the scene unfolding before them, yet the moment was layered with contrast. The Arapaho man's voice boomed again, announcing the arrival of a Scottish bagpipe band. The thrill in the crowd was palpable, but for little Tommy, trepidation flickered deep within. Melody quickly reassured him. "It's going to be okay, little buddy. The band isn't arriving just yet." She placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, her voice soft yet firm. "But I can tell you really like the sound of that other guy playing his Spanish bagpipe." His smile returned, hesitantly at first, but it grew stronger as he replied, "It's not as loud as a whole band." She felt relieved, wrapping her arms around him with an added squeeze. However, in the shadows loomed a figure not participating in the revelry, Miss Trunchbull. Her disgruntled demeanor reflected a brewing storm, a plan weaving through her mind like dark clouds in a sunny sky. Yet Mr. Arapaho, with his watchful eyes, remained vigilant. He understood that should Ms. Trunchbull enact her plot, she would soon come face to face with the impending Scottish bagpipe band, a confrontation neither party would soon forget. In a vibrant gathering, the air was filled with the rhythmic pulse of music, blending cultures in an unexpected alliance. Just as the melodies danced through the atmosphere, a Native American band gracefully swooped in, harmonizing with the enchanting sound of the Spanish bagpipe. Together, they created a rich tapestry of sound that captivated everyone present. Each note resonated with the essence of their unique heritages, intertwining the spirit of the Arapaho with the traditions of Asturias, creating a symphony that was both familiar and refreshing. The Arapaho man beamed with pride, observing the seamless fusion of the two musical worlds. With a smile, he announced, "It seems like we're blending cultures here," reflecting the joy that filled his heart. Meanwhile, the rhythmic beats continued their soulful dialogue, the Native American melodies flowing effortlessly alongside the lively sound of the gaita. It was a moment that seemed to crystallize the beauty of unity in diversity, as the crowd swayed in unison, wrapped in the warmth of shared celebration. Amidst the revelry, Mr. Arapaho approached Melody and her little guy, his voice filled with encouragement. "I just wanted to tell you how proud I am of your little guy. He did well for his first community gathering," he said, his eyes twinkling with delight. Melody's eyes glistened with unshed tears, and she embraced her son tightly, feeling the weight of joyful recognition surrounding them. Just then, a stern voice cut through the joyous atmosphere like a knife, demanding attention and halting the music. "My rules state that we cannot do this type of celebration," said the voice, sour and unforgiving. Instantly, the sound of merriment ceased, but Mr. Arapaho would not let their culture be silenced. "Get off the stage. Let the music continue," he shouted defiantly, fueling the spirit of resistance. The Arapaho man's words ignited a spark of courage among the crowd, giving them strength. With renewed vigor, the gaita chimed back to life, encouraged by the unwavering unity of the Native Americans and their Spanish counterparts, who maintained perfect rhythm. Just as tension soared, Mr. Arapaho recognized the voice from the stage. It was Miss Trunchbull. Facing the tone of her gruffness, he boldly declared, "You have seriously crossed the line. I heard from the Irishmen about your attempts to place Melody's son in your chokey again. That is not going to happen anymore, especially not with a bagpipe ensemble on the horizon." The energy thickened with anticipation for the Scottish bagpipe band, ready to join this celebration of cultures and dispel the looming shadow of discord. In a bustling hall filled with laughter and chatter, tension sparked between Mr. Arapaho and Miss Trunchbull. Their confrontation crackled like dry leaves underfoot. Mr. Arapaho, his stance firm, launched into a tirade about the ruckus interrupting the festivities. "There's a guy up there playing his racket on his so-called gaita," he declared, nodding towards the source of the noise that was weaving a vibrant tapestry of sound through the air. With a wave of his hand, he dismissed her objections, asserting, "You were the one trying to cause a commotion here." The hall seemed to hold its breath in anticipation, as everyone was drawn into the clash of wills. Miss Trunchbull, not one to be subdued, shot back with fiery retorts. She stood resolute, anger simmering just beneath the surface but masked by a polite facade. Yet, even she could not deny the enchanting music drifting from above. The strains of traditional bagpipes came wafting down, spinning a spell of intrigue around the crowd. Mr. Arapaho chuckled at her palpable discomfort. "Anticipate the incoming bagpipes and wait in suspense for the notes of Scotland the Brave," he teased, his voice booming over the din. Miss Trunchbull's composure wavered as Melody wrapped her arms around her little guy like a sweet embrace, whispering encouragement amid the turmoil. As the festivities unfolded, the cheerful notes filled the room with a resonating warmth. Arapaho returned to the merriment, his spirit undeterred, as Melody kissed her little one's arm. A silent vow of protection against any threat. Tears brimmed in her eyes, cascading down her cheeks in a moment of vulnerability. She knew their bond would shield them from Miss Trunchbull's oppressive shadow. Meanwhile, the Irishman prepared to showcase his Willian pipes, heightening the festive atmosphere. Melodies cascaded like a bubbling brook, dancing alongside the cheerful conversations, drawing everyone closer. The Irish folk band prepared to grace the stage, guitars and fiddles poised like stars awaiting their cue. The air thick with anticipation, Mr. Arapaho enlightened the crowd, declaring the impending performance. "Get ready for joyful jigs and exhilarating reels." The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, and in the distance, the rich sound of bagpipes heralded a promised influx of community spirit. "Be prepared, Miss Trunchbull," he teased as laughter erupted throughout the venue, almost drowning out her apprehension. The musicians nodded in agreement, ready to immerse the audience in the heart of Irish culture. With the first notes of Whiskey in the Jar weaving a spell of joy, the hall transformed into a vibrant celebration, reminding everyone that unity lies in shared music and laughter. As the echoes of familiar tunes weaved through the air, a lively gathering unfolded amidst the trees, where the rhythmic beats of drums danced in harmony with the laughter of the community. The air was filled with hints of cheer and anticipation as an Irish folk band concluded their spirited performance, filling hearts with joy and nostalgia. In the midst of the jubilant atmosphere, an eager voice emerged, the Arapaho man, radiating excitement. He urged everyone to lend their ears, a prelude to the enchanting sounds that were about to grace their event. With a sense of unity, the crowd collectively acknowledged the sound. Scotland the Brave reverberated in the distance, hinting at the approaching spectacle of the bagpipe band. As the sound drew nearer, the crowd parted willingly, the energy palpable as the bagpipe band made their grand entrance. Amidst the excitement, Miss Trunchbull's reaction was unmissable. She flailed her arms and scurried around, temporarily out of control in her discontent. However, her antics went unnoticed as the melodic strains captivated the audience, transcending any chaos she brought to the scene. The pipe band's presence illuminated the event, playing an array of traditional melodies, twirling listeners into a festive whirl. The tunes shifted gracefully between lively reels and poignant ballads, punctuated by the robust sounds of the Scottish pipes that kissed the warm summer air. Melody, keenly aware of the enigmatic aura surrounding them, shared a knowing glance with her little companion, whose curiosity peeked through his youthful eyes. Amidst the laughter and delightful tunes, Melody found herself embracing the moment, the shared joy echoing between her and her little one. They laughed at Miss Trunchbull's toddler-like tantrums, realizing the sheer absurdity of the moment. Her spirited demands vanished under the triumphant notes of Hector the Hero and the sweet strains of Donald MacLean's Farewell, forging a connection among the spectators that transcended the mundane. Amid the festivities, the little guy, emboldened by the moments of laughter, leaned into his mother and whispered that infamous line, "That serves Miss Trunchbull right." Laughter spilled from their lips, a sweet release that brought them closer together as they declared their intent to indulge in haggis and other sweet treats. Together they journeyed into the vibrant world their community had created, where melodies of old met the delight of youth, creating a celebration that would linger in memory long after the final note played. After an exhilarating Thanksgiving evening filled with the enchanting sounds of bagpipes, the warm night descended upon Melody and her little guy. Nestled in the comfort of their home, she made a heartfelt declaration, her voice soft yet sweet. "I would like you to be with me for the night." The little guy hesitated, responding shyly, "But I like it here." Melody understood but felt a tug at her heart. The fear of solitude loomed over her like a shadow. "I know," she began gently, "but I don't want to be alone." With that, she drew him closer, wrapping him up like a cherished melody, soothing him into the warm embrace that only a mother's love could provide. The rhythmic sound of their breathing intertwined, resembling a gentle swell of Irish lullabies, filling the space with tranquility. However, their peaceful night was abruptly interrupted by a stern voice, dark and foreboding, echoing like a thunderstorm. It belonged to Miss Trunchbull, the tyrant in their lives. "My rules state that you're not allowed to have an empty bed. Come with me, little boy. I've got cookies for you," she declared, snatching away the fragile joy. Melody's heart sank as she lay there, alone and defeated, eyes welling with unshed tears that mirrored the rain outside. The weight of loss settled heavily upon her, but determination began to rise within as clarity struck like a lightning bolt. She knew she could not let her little guy be taken. She would confront the menace herself. In a rush of courage, she ventured out, the sound of her little one's distress echoing through the darkness, calling her name from the dreaded chokey. Familiar yet terrifying, it symbolized all the fears she had amassed. With every heartbeat, her heart felt heavier, drumming with urgency. Melody found him trapped, locked away in that cruel prison as the memories of how they had been pulled apart flooded her mind. "You took him," she declared, her voice wavering but resolute. Unable to bear the pain any longer, she mustered all her strength and whisked her little boy out of the chokey, wrapping him in love and hope. "I know you were doing so well, my sweet boy, and you'll be safe here with me," she murmured, leading him back to the warmth of their home. The comfort and rhythmic union of their hearts resumed, echoing like a serene Irish lullaby as they awaited the next adventure together, bound by love and resilience. As the deep night cloaked the world in shadows, Melody raced against time, her heart pounding with urgency. The looming figure of Miss Trunchbull, with her menacing glare, faded into the background as Melody reached into the dark confines of the dreaded chokey, a towering prison with its unforgiving walls. Daringly, she pulled her little guy free, feeling the warmth of his tiny body against hers, and the relief washed over them like the first light of dawn breaking through the night. With a fierce squeeze, she enveloped him, grounding them both in their triumph, as the sound of great Highland bagpipes echoed eerily in the distance. The notes soared through the air, a haunting melody that filled the night with a sense of wonder and danger. "This will never happen again," she whispered softly, her breath brushing against his ear as they navigated back to their secret sanctuary. a hidden nook known only to them, shrouded in the gentle embrace of safety. Nestled together, they formed a cocoon of comfort amidst the chaos that lurked outside. The world beyond was harsh and unforgiving, but within their little sanctuary, nothing could reach them. They shared a sacred bond, one woven through whispered secrets and unspoken promises. As the little one surrendered to slumber, a soft rhythm of deep breaths filling the silence, Melody couldn't help but gaze at him with adoration, her heart swelling with love. In that moment, everything was perfect, and time stretched out like a gentle caress. But in the stillness, an unexpected twist emerged like a playful breeze stirring the leaves. Melody couldn't resist the urge to play, her heart lightening with mischief. Leaning over, she softly blew into his ear, a playful invitation to wakefulness that danced in the air. Was it laughter that filled the space? As he stirred, she chuckled lightly, turning him gently to unleash the same cheeky gesture on his other ear. What kind of joke was she creating? Was it simply a dream woven into the fabric of the night? The boundaries between reality and imagination blurred, leaving a trail of giggles and affectionate mystery in their wake. And as they embraced the playfulness of the moment, they found themselves lost in an enchanted dream, where every breath was filled with magic and delight. As the deep night cloaked the world in shadows, Melody raced against time, her heart pounding with urgency. The looming figure of Miss Trunchbull, with her menacing glare, faded into the background as Melody reached into the dark confines of the dreaded Choky, a towering prison with its unforgiving walls. Daringly, she pulled her little guy free, feeling the warmth of his tiny body against hers, and the relief washed over them like the first light of dawn breaking through the night. With a fierce squeeze, she enveloped him, grounding them both in their triumph, as the sound of great Highland bagpipes echoed eerily in the distance. The notes soared through the air, a haunting melody that filled the night with a sense of wonder and danger. "This will never happen again," she whispered softly, her breath brushing against his ear as they navigated back to their secret sanctuary, a hidden nook known only to them, shrouded in the gentle embrace of safety. Nestled together, they formed a cocoon of comfort amidst the chaos that lurked outside. The world beyond was harsh and unforgiving, but within their little sanctuary, nothing could reach them. They shared a sacred bond, one woven through whispered secrets and unspoken promises. As the little one surrendered to slumber, a soft rhythm of deep breaths filling the silence, Melody couldn't help but gaze at him with adoration, her heart swelling with love. In that moment, everything was perfect, and time stretched out like a gentle caress. But in the stillness, an unexpected twist emerged like a playful breeze stirring the leaves. Melody couldn't resist the urge to play, her heart lightening with mischief. Leaning over, she softly blew into his ear, a playful invitation to wakefulness that danced in the air. Was it laughter that filled the space? As he stirred, she chuckled lightly, turning him gently to unleash the same cheeky gesture on his other ear. What kind of joke was she creating? Was it simply a dream woven into the fabric of the night? The boundaries between reality and imagination blurred, leaving a trail of giggles and affectionate mystery in their wake. And as they embraced the playfulness of the moment, they found themselves lost in an enchanted dream, where every breath was filled with magic and delight. As the night embraced the world with its velvety darkness, the final notes of the bagpipes echoed through the air, leaving behind whispers of thanksgiving and the promise of new beginnings. A gentle hush fell over the sleeping household as dreams drifted like autumn leaves. Mr. Arapaho was among them, weaving visions of winter festivities that transcended mere holiday cheer. In his mind's eye, he envisioned a celebration transformed, not just by candy canes and mistletoe, but by the rich tradition of a Scottish burn supper, where every decoration would dance to the tune of the bagpipes. Every year, putting up holiday decorations was a cherished ritual, but this time there was an electric anticipation in the air. With each ornament brought out of storage, the vibrant colors seemed to pulse with life, the deep blues, fiery reds, lush greens, and pure whites of the lights transforming the surroundings into a winter wonderland. Arapaho imagined how the soft sound of bagpipes would accompany each element, the snowman clad in a vibrant scarf, snowflakes drifting down like delicate dreams, and lights twinkling like stars against the backdrop of a frosty night. He envisioned families gathering on the lawn, eyes shimmering with joy as the music filled the air, connecting generations through celebration and shared memories. Meanwhile, in a gentle sanctuary of slumber, Melody and her little guy were lost in a world of playful dreams. Laughter bubbled up between them as he stirred, feeling the tickling sensation of a spider, only to awaken and find nothing but shadows playing across the walls. "That was just a joke, buddy," Melody whispered fondly, her heart swelling with affection. "I was planting a tickle on you now. Let's finish getting our rest. The winter holidays are just around the corner." Their minds were still entwined in fantasies of how magical the upcoming festivities would be, filled with Mr. Arapahoe's delightful traditions and the warmth of family gatherings. As they nestled back into their pillows, the first hints of dawn began to weave their way into their dreams, setting the stage for a day brimming with anticipation and joy. Holiday lights would soon blaze to life, and the sweet sound of laughter would mingle with charming bagpipe tunes, heralding the arrival of winter holidays filled with love and cheer. As dawn approached, a soft glow seeped above the horizon, painting the sky in gentle hues of orange and pink. Melody stirred, excitement bubbling within her like a warm cup of cocoa. The morning was still young for her little guy, but she felt a pull, a joyful tug beckoning them to start their day. Memories of last night's haunting bagpipe melodies echoed in her mind, urging her forward. With a radiant smile, she turned to her little one and whispered, "Let's begin our day, sweetie." As they readied themselves, a gentle knock echoed through their home. Curiosity piqued. Together they approached the door to discover the cheery face of Mr. Arapahoe. A wave of enthusiasm washed over them as he greeted, "Who's ready for the winter holidays?" Melody and her little guy bounced in delight, embracing the moment with joy. The sound of the bagpipes resonated yet again in her heart, and she asked Mr. Arapahoe, "Will it be just like last night?" With a twinkle in his eye, he assured them, "Absolutely. Each decoration will come alive with its own unique bagpipe tune, celebrating this festive spirit in a way only we can." Melody's anticipation soared as Mr. Arapahoe explained the grand plan. While many darted off for Black Friday shopping, their hearts remained steadfast in preparing for the winter holidays. Lights would twinkle, and the grand tree would rise tall in the community, aglow with brilliance. But, he added, the lighting wouldn't commence until every tune completed its melody, interlacing notes with the vibrant decorations. "I know it may take a while," he continued, his voice steady, "but there's a reason for the magic. Each note tells a story, honors the moment." As they heard the excitement in his voice, Melody's little guy smiled brightly, eager to witness the transformation ahead. Each decoration, each vibrant hue promised a story, a melody that would resonate through their community. With joyful anticipation, Mr. Arapahoe excused himself, mentioning the need to set up a hot cocoa stand. Despite the fatigue from the night before, his spirit remained unshaken, propelled by a desire to give back. As he left, Melody and her little boy gazed at the horizon, imagining the evening ahead. Expectations played in their minds like the gentle rise of a bagpipe's tune, each color and light visualized in shades of green, blue, and soft whites. The air would shimmer with warmth and holiday cheer, and every Hanukkah light would grace the celebration with its harmonious tune. Together they understood the beauty of this unique approach, realizing that the holiday decorations exemplified more than just a display. They were threads of their community's festive tapestry, woven together in a symphony of tradition. As Melody and her little guy reveled in the warmth of the early morning sun, an unexpected transformation occurred. The gentle rise of the orange rays was suddenly disrupted, retreating behind thick clouds that cast a bluish tint across the landscape. The air shimmered as sparkling flakes gracefully twirled down, painting the ground in delicate white. Melody and her little companion exchanged smiles, enchanted by the beauty surrounding them. Amidst this wintry scene, an Arapahoe man appeared, a twinkle of delight in his eyes as he embraced the spectacle, relaying a joyful message to his friend, Mr. Turkey. Together they prepared for an enchanting gathering, reminiscent of traditional Scottish festivities. The joyful anticipation of celebrating the ever-fickle snowfall filled the air with laughter and camaraderie, as if nature herself danced along to their tunes with utmost care and precision. Mr. Turkey adjusted his Scottish smallpipes, ensuring that the harmonious tapestry of sound was woven perfectly. The notes hung in the air, the bass drone resonating at A2, deep and rich, while the tenor drone and chanter hit A3 in perfect synchronization. The sweet melodies of Scotland the Brave and the Rowan Tree intertwined, wrapping the Arapaho man and Mr. Turkey in a comforting embrace of music. The magical atmosphere felt as though snowflakes twirled in time with the sweet strains of the pipes, creating an enchanting winter wonderland amidst the fleeting snow. Inside their home, Melody and her little guy surrendered to the calming flow of the Scottish smallpipes, each note painting vivid imagery of dancing snowflakes in their minds. Their peaceful moment was abruptly shattered by a fierce knock that knocked them from their enchanting reverie. Who could dare disturb their idyllic gathering? Melody hesitated, her pulse quickening, and as she swung open the door, her response was immediate. "Get out," she exclaimed, confronting the mean woman called Miss Trunchbull. The harshness of her rules loomed over Melody like a dark cloud as she marched up to the musicians, hurling threats in an attempt to banish their joyful tunes. "No snow is allowed to fall," she declared, but the Arapaho man stood firm, defiance in his heart, summoning the spirit of Asturias for assistance. The Spanish man arrived wielding his gaita, a lively yet haunting sound that captivated everyone present. The gaita's fierce notes rose high, casting a spell that held Mrs. Trunchbull captive in her fury, a momentary prisoner to the very music she sought to silence, igniting the spirit of joy amidst strife. The scene was a whimsical winter wonderland, with snowflakes drifting down like confetti from the heavens above, creating a blanket of white that transformed the mundane into a magical realm. In the midst of this enchanting backdrop, a man from Asturias showcased his gaita, an instrument strikingly similar to the Scottish Highland bagpipes, yet distinctively higher in pitch, its melodic sound bursting forth like the joyous laughter of children at play. As the haunting melodies wrapped around Miss Trunchbull, she found herself caught in a whirlwind of her own cluelessness, reminiscent of a prisoner ensnared in a world filled with delight and whimsy. The music beckoned her, yet propelled her into a childlike frenzy. Rolling in the snow, she kicked her legs and flailed as though she were throwing an elaborate tantrum, unaware that she had turned her surroundings into an icy playground of laughter. The gaita's bass drone reverberated in the air, coaxing reactions that were both hilarious and bewildering. Trunchbull squawked stubbornly, repeating her rejection of the gaita like a toddler demanding candy, her expression a comical blend of horror and resistance. Yet, amidst her antics, the joy of the music seeped into her consciousness, stirring a battle between her adult demeanor and the innocent exuberance the sound invoked within her soul. Meanwhile, Melody and her little companion, enchanted by the absurdity unfolding before them, shared a moment of laughter that echoed through the frosty air. As they rolled together on the floor, amusement bubbling over like the playful snow, their joyful spirits stirred a collective euphoria, compelling even Mr. Turkey and the gaita player to momentarily pause their performance in delight. With the air thick with laughter, Melody shouted, declaring, "Miss Trunchbull is a child." This revelation sent ripples of mirth through the onlookers, including the man from northwest Spain, who chuckled heartily, safeguarding his gaita as he succumbed to the joyful atmosphere and rolled around on the ground, sinking into the silliness in unison with the others. As the laughter subsided, the festive spirit surged to the forefront, prompting Miss Trunchbull to regain some semblance of decorum. In a surprising twist, she announced a gathering where Mr. Turkey would present his Scottish smallpipes in dutiful celebration of the night Mr. Arapaho, beaming with enthusiasm, extended an invitation to the Spanish man for dancing and music, ensuring that the traditions of the Scottish supper would blend flawlessly with the spirited Asturian melodies, creating an unforgettable cultural tapestry.